if if I think about the things that I love doing, which is okay, I love actually I love talking about this stuff, and I'm energetic. I'm obviously kind of jacked up for the conversation. I feel good. Now, this feeling I can recognize. I feel confident, right? I feel like I know my material. I feel that I'm capable. When I don't feel this way, when I feel uncertain and insecure, and if I look around in my environment and there's nothing to be uncertain and insecure about, then I look at that feeling. So that feeling's not mine.
I want to ask about the self-image and
Right.
brain chemistry.
All right. Well, well, the self-image part, and I've had a real big study of this over the last 15 years because I'm fascinated by our brain, our nervous system. Well, I'm fascinated by all of it, but very curious about the mind. And I'll give you a good example. I was working with a lady yesterday online, and she's part of a program that I have called the I Am Project. And she was saying, I can do all these things in my life. I'm a bookkeeper. I can look after all these accounts. I can look after my daughter, my granddaughter. Like I'm really good looking after everyone else, but I just can't be. I'm not inspired. I just seem to struggle when it comes to kind of getting my workouts done and eating properly. And she's put on about another 30 pounds. So I said, well, I mean, but if you look at, all the other parts of your life, you're doing it for somebody else, right? So you're working hard because you and your husband like to travel. So there's a big reason outside of, I don't work because I love, she doesn't do bookkeeping because she loves it. She does it because there's a benefit that she recognizes that's beyond just the actual work. Working for her daughter and her granddaughter, that's really easy. But when it comes to diet and exercise, the emotions behind it are really immature, because when I asked her, I said, when did you start the whole self-image thing? How far back in history did you start developing a really poor self-concept? I said, when you were 12. She goes, well, when I was probably 12 or 13. I said, so you started this whole idea around, when I look in the mirror, I hate my gut, and my breast is sagging, and my body, she's disgusted with her body. So, but that goes back, she's in her 60s, so that goes back, 40 years. So here's the interesting thing that we do with the mind. When you hear something, you take the words I'm saying, and then you take those words and you relay the message, right? Your brain decodes the auditory piece, and it matches it against what you already know, right? That's the only reason because you understand English based on the memory of you learning English, right? That's how you know it. And so the words I'm saying, so when she's having this experience around exercise and eating a certain way and being healthier, her brain is accessing the juvenile part of her psychology of the 12 or 13-year-old. And the 12 or 13-year-old isn't disciplined enough to get up and exercise and get up and eat properly, right? So right. She's using the wrong part of her psychology when it comes to exercise and diet. So we had this big conversation around, well, and I had her do a bit of visualization. I said, if you could go back and you could talk to the 12-year-old right now, and let's say you're the great aunt, right? Because she's 12 and you're 60 some years old. What would you tell her? And I had her actually go back and think about the experience the 12-year-old had and the emotions she was having. And she started thinking in this kind of split way, and she started communicating with a young version of herself, kind of outside of her mind. And we ended up collapsing this old memory, so that when she thinks of the 12-year-old, she was trying to communicate with her 12-year-old self, getting the 12-year-old to want to exercise, to be of support, because there's important things in her life that she has to do. It was a really kind of an interesting game, but it kind of speaks to the term. And somebody goes, Travis, dude, you're not feeling like yourself today, or that is totally out of character for you. Totally characteristic for a 13-year-old, but not characteristic for an adult male. Or when people say it's so out of character, or I'm not feeling like myself, or so those words really kind of lend to the fact that we have the ability to float inside of our memory and pick up ideas from our past as a reference point to how we view our current reality. It's really, really strange.
Listen, David, you going into some really deep stuff because you're now talking about the ability to separate one aspect of yourself from other aspects of yourself and delving into parts of your being. And
Well, can I simplify it, Travis? Can I make it really simple?
yeah, go on for it.
Okay, because I don't want to get people all make it too esoteric and complicated. If I think about the things that I love doing, which is okay, I love talking about this stuff, and I'm energetic. I'm obviously kind of jacked up for the conversation. I feel good. Now, this feeling I can recognize. I feel confident, right? I feel like I know my material. I feel that I'm capable. When I don't feel this way, when I feel uncertain and insecure, and if I look around in my environment and there's nothing to be uncertain and insecure about, then I look at that feeling's not mine. Just because I'm feeling it doesn't mean it belongs to me in the current tense of who I am. Right? So then I can stop and say, okay, it feels uncomfortable. It's like fear. Fear doesn't tell you to do anything. It just says, look around and make sure.
Yeah.
If I look around and make sure nothing's going on, then say, well, thank you, fear, for kind of freaking me out there for a second, but it's okay. I don't have to buy into everything I think or feel.
Yeah.
It's not necessary. And I think that's the part. People over-identify with stuff going on in their head or what they feel in their heart. And if I know who I am as an adult male, and I know what I've done and what I've accomplished and what's in my current reality, anything that's contrary, I should really question it, especially if it's destructive.
Yeah. I mean, that simplifies it right down to the bare bone. From what you're saying, I'm getting that if you don't feel right, just take a moment and ask yourself, is this who you really want to be? Is this who you really are? If you're not feeling the way you want to be feeling, ask yourself why.
Thanks for watching this video. If you've got any questions that you'd like our experts to answer, please leave them in the comments below.